Hey au pairs! I'm Edwina.
I'm Hannah. And today
we're talking
your
about
questions.
your questions. It is rainy in Paris. We're together for the week and we're gonna answer some of your questions on Instagram because
I got a lot of them.
feel like doing. First things first, please follow us on all of the things. Instagram, we have a blog. You can become an APOP member and meet each other in Paris if you're an au pair in Paris. Check out all of the things that we do on our Facebook, and most importantly, we have a book. Go leave reviews, honest reviews, and buy our book because our book answers all of your questions ever that we've ever been asked. So go check that out on Amazon.
Hold on. How do you meet other au pairs?
It is hard to meet other au pairs in Paris, especially because you are working on a job that is just you and your family and you don't get to see anyone else in the city.
Yep.
So you have to put a lot of effort into meeting other people. We met through Facebook. I set up a group for au pairs that were in the 17th arrondissement, and we had weekly consistent coffee meetups every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that is how
Coffee
we met.
and wine.
Exactly. Facebook groups, meetups are really, really great. We've made a video on this before, so go check that out. But basically it comes down to you have to put effort into meeting people and putting yourself out there and not settling and going wide, not deep, meeting as many people as you can and taking advantage of all of the different types of people that come to your new city.
Yeah, you just basically have to get really good at going on friend dates, which means messaging someone as soon as you see that they're in your city or arrondissement and saying, do you want to go out for a drink? And then meeting them maybe one-on-one, and it feels like a date. You'll get better at realizing who is your type of person quite quickly after you've been on a lot of friend dates, and then you'll know a lot of people, but you'll know when you want to get rid of some of them. You missed out the very important point, which is if you want to make friends in Paris, then you should become an APOP member.
Because we host events in Paris for au pairs that are all around the city, and we do events once a week at least. So, how different is au pairing in the US versus in France? Every country has different laws and different lifestyles. So for example, in the US, you have school every day from 8 to 3 p.m. about, and au pairs often pick up their kids at 3 and then work until the mom or dad comes home, which can be 6, 7, 8. Whereas in France, you pick up your kids at like 4, 4:30. Kids don't have school on Wednesdays, so you're working all day on Wednesdays. And then your parents will usually come home around like 8 o'clock after dinner. Is it very different? Yes, I think you might work a lot more actually if you're an au pair in the US, but you also get paid a lot more. And because of the lifestyle in America, everyone has cars, which is not something that we would even think about in a big city like Paris. Like no one would be allowing their au pair to drive. I mean, not no one, I've heard of it before, but it's rare to be driving a car as an au pair in a big city, I think. How is using public transport in another language by yourself? Was it difficult?
I would say that when you first arrive in Paris, it may seem overwhelming, but it's color-coded and numbered, which makes life very easy. So you just like look at the map, figure out which colored line you want to be on and stick to it. And then maybe if you have to change, you can figure it out quite easily, I would say. But I'm actually English, and London's public transport is horrible, even as an English
New York's public transport is worse than all of the transports in the whole world, and that's my home city. Like, Paris is a dream, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so easy until you hit the RER, and then you're like, what is life?
Yeah.
You can figure it out quite easily, I think.
And once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. I would say almost everyone that I know prefers Paris metro system to a lot of other cities in the world.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that yesterday we literally saw a man weeing into the railway. So,
I mean, it has its downfalls as well. Is it hard to find a good family in Paris?
I would say it totally depends on your situation.
What do you mean?
Like, if I've heard a lot of au pairs coming from places like China struggle to get visas and struggle to find host families in Paris, but as a mother tongue English speaker, it's very easy for both of us to find families because people are looking, a lot of people are looking to teach their kids English in this like cheap labor sort of way. Yeah, I think it can be hard. You just have to put in the work, basically. It doesn't matter if you're where you're coming from, really, you still are gonna have to put in quite a bit of work. And if you're a male au pair, you're probably gonna have to put in a bit more work.
Yeah. The hardest part is not finding the family. Like, there are tons of families that will contact you, but it's finding, I think visas make it very difficult, for sure. Finding a good family is not hard if you're flexible. Like, if you're really strict about wanting a lot of different things, then finding a good family is going to be hard. But like, what does a good family mean? Like, I think all families have a lot of benefits, but you know, depends on you. And you never know if they're good until like the end of the experience. Really.
Or you don't know until like 3 months in, and you're talking to your au pair friends, and you're like,
this is not a good family. This is a bad family.
Like, it hit me yesterday. Oh wait.
How much do French courses cost, and do your host parents pay for them?
We have a whole video on that, do we?
Yes, we do have a whole video. We'll link that here. And sometimes your host family will pay for your French courses, but that's, consider yourself lucky if they do that.
Lucky, yeah.
But they don't have to be expensive. And I'm personally of the mind to think that it's about how much effort that you give. Like, you can go to the expensive courses like at La Sorbonne and like at Alliance Française, but you could also go to the cheap courses like I did and still learn just as much if you work really hard on your French and like make the effort to find language partners and things like that. So if you don't want to pay that much, you don't have to. Average price for the classes, you could pay like $1,000 for a whole year, or you could just go for a semester and then pay like, you know, 300 euros, which is what I did. I
would recommend going and trying out a few different places and deciding if you want to carry on, rather than paying upfront before you even get to Paris at like $1,000, like I did.
Is it hard to afford everything? I'm afraid I'll end up going into debt when I go there.
That totally depends on you, of course. Are you someone that usually goes into debt anyway? Because if you are in a situation where you're living rent-free and you're getting paid some money and you don't have to pay for food, are you gonna just like splurge on things that your pocket money won't be able to afford you? Or are you gonna budget and live within your means? It totally depends on whether you think you are able to budget. Because if you can budget, au pairing is like the absolute best year abroad option, because it's not like a work away or what's some other year abroad options? Traveling, woofing, because you're not actually spending, you don't have to spend loads of money. Like in Paris, museums are free for under 25s. If you're gonna go out and eat all the time, then yeah, you're gonna go into debt because food is expensive. But if you do what we did, which is to
eat your family's food all the time,
and then go out for cheap glasses of wine and get an espresso rather than a flat
carafe of wine.
Exactly. Then you'll be fine. If you buy wine and drink it at your friend's house, then you'll be fine. You just have to like make some
conscious
effort, and make a conscious effort and budget. But if you do all of those things, then you'll not go into debt. That's
why we always recommend to come into your year with savings, because it is not that much money to be living off of. Especially if you have to pay for your French courses, you have to budget for that. But when it comes to the pocket money, like, it is doable to survive on the pocket money that you're being given.
Like when I was an au pair in Germany, I arrived with no money and student debt. I was able to spend my time doing like fun-free things around the city that I wouldn't have been able to do in England, my boring little town in England. So I was having this interesting cultural experience without spending any money. It's just about being crafty. This is a good one. What do you do in your spare time when you're not with your host kid?
What do you do with your spare time when you're not with your host kid? Well, we go to a lot of coffee shops. Mostly because we don't drink coffee all the time. We literally just go in there and sometimes like eat a cookie or like spend the whole day in there just to work on our computers. Because it is cheap in France to buy an espresso and sit in a coffee shop all day, especially when it's mucky out and gross. It's the best way to like spend time, because you can go for a walk around like new parts of the city and then take a break in a coffee shop and then walk more, and then it's just a nice break once you're done with all of the touristy things. But when you first arrive, I guarantee you're gonna have a long list of things you're gonna want to do. At least I hope you do, because then there's no point. And there's so much to do in Paris. There's so many museums to see. Like there's so many fun little corners of the city to explore. Once you're done with that, it's like, or you get tired of that, which can be exhausting. Like, what do? You just sit and you do the French thing and you sit with wine and coffee and you hang out with your friends at their houses, because that saves you money.
Yeah.
But for your au pair year, like I remember getting to my au pair year and I barely scraped the surface of all of the things that I wanted to do in Paris.
I would say, what did we actually do for most of our time in Paris other than sit in cafes? Get on buses, listen to music, and travel across the city. Once you found like a good friend in the city, you'll be like set. You'll just be like, let's do this, let's do that. But I would say when you first get to the city, museums and everything that you just said, friend dates, like every day I would line up a new friend date. So you meet people, and then towards the end, like once you've got friends, you're just like, let's just go chill at your house and watch Friends.
And think about your hobbies too. Like that people, I meet some people who have some interesting hobbies in the city, who find communities for it. Like improv groups happen. Like there's French stand-up comedy, the French English stand-up comedy groups. There's like ultimate frisbee, like singers, there's church groups. I'm now gonna be part of a roller skating group because it's my new hobby. So if you see me in the street, give me a holler from my white blades. Please like us on all the things. Take a look at our book for more information, and
that's all for now.
That's all for now. Ciao.
The pink theme we've got going on today as well.